Welcome back everybody to another MOTOBOB video, and today we're at the Triumph Museum in Hinckley to have a look at this bike. It's the updated 2025 Tiger Sport 660. Now externally it may look very similar to last year's model, but there are actually quite a few little updates that should make it a better bike for the new model year. So in this video we'll go through all of the details with everything that you need to know about it. Now for me this was already a really nice bike to ride in, so they haven't really changed any of the fundamentals because I don't think they really needed to. In fact, when they were first working on a sort of prototype of this bike, I was actually lucky enough to come and ride it, and they brought in some of the competitors like Yamaha's Tracer 7 and the Kawasaki Versys 650, so we could ride them back to back and really get an impression of how it compared. Genuinely, this felt like the most lively and engaging bike to ride, and so for me, I'm more than happy that the engine and chassis are largely exactly the same. So it's the 660 inline triple that makes about 80 horsepower peak, and against some of the other twins in this category, the triple cylinder engine for me is a big advantage with a bit more top end sportiness while still maintaining plenty of that usable mid-range. The steel frame's the same, suspension still from Showa with the upside down fork, non-adjustable, a preload adjustable shock at the rear with a remote preload knob, and then cast 17-inch wheels both front and rear with Nissin 2-pot axially mounted brakes. And they don't look necessarily like the strongest brakes on paper, but in my experience of riding this out on the road, they're more than up to the job. Tyres come in the form of Michelin's excellent Road 5s, which are a great all-rounder for this sort of sports touring kind of bike. No changes to the riding position either, so it's still 835mm in the seat height, the bars are in the same spot, the pegs are in the same spot, and you've still got this adjustable windscreen, but they have made the pillion seat wider by 20mm, much like the bigger Tiger 800 variant which came out recently, and so you might find that if you're riding on the back it's just that little bit more comfortable. Where you do start to see some significant changes though are with the technology package, and it inherits a lot of the same features that have also been announced for the Trident 660, and some of it I guess perhaps trickles down from that new Tiger Sport 800. The big one for me is the single button cruise control. I mean, yes, you can't nudge it up and down in terms of speed and hit resume, but a simple single button system does suit a bike at this sort of price point, and it's something I'd really much rather have than not, especially on a bike that is partially intended for doing decent mileage. You've also now got a 6-axis IMU or inertial measurement unit, so lean angles are now fed into the ABS and traction control, and so they should intervene more appropriately through corners, which is always going to be a good thing. One of the things I really liked about the Daytona 660 when I tested it a couple of months back was the fact that it had a sport riding mode on top of the rain and road that you already got on this bike and the Trident 660, because it just felt that little bit more lively. And although these bikes do appeal to people looking for something to get started on, they're also brilliant for more experienced riders who might really appreciate just a bit more directness and snap in the throttle. So it's great news that that is also, again, added to the Trident for 2025, but also this bike. On top of that, there's some stuff that's gone from the accessories catalog to being standard fit now. So one that's brilliant is the quick shifter, the up and down Triumph shift assist system, and it works really nicely. I had that fitted to my Trident 660 when I bought it, and really just adds a little bit of a sense of sportiness when you're riding a bit quicker. The connectivity module, again, I tested that out thoroughly when I owned a Trident. I had it fitted as an accessory. Again, that's now standard, so that's two really significant upgrades that you get without having to spec them separately, and that opens up connecting your phone and your headset to the bike, and that's going to allow you to control through the switchgear and dash, music, calls, messages, and also turn-by-turn nav if you use the My Triumph app. There are a couple of other tweaks. They say that the brake lever is now forged aluminium, which is an upgrade from the previous gen. You've also got the ambient temperature sensor, which wasn't a feature previously, but it's now on all these 660 bikes and the 800. And so really you can see this bike as being mechanically pretty much the same, but the tech package being significantly upgraded. Naturally, with it being a new model year, there are also some new paint options too. I think there's a white, a grey, and a red, but my favorite of the bunch has to be this roulette green, which definitely has shades of sort of 90s Daytonas and street triples and stuff like that. It really pops and looks fantastic on this kind of bike. So on to the price, and like I say, considering that some of those accessories on their own cost a couple £100 and then you got to pay to get them fitted, the fact that this bike has only gone up by 50 quid year over year, I think represents really quite a good deal. So it's now $8,995 as opposed to $8,945. And so yeah, really competitive for what is, I think, a very good bike. The only temptation might be to go for the bigger 800, which is new for 2025. That gives you 30 odd more horsepower, adjustable suspension, some upgraded radially mounted brake calipers, plus a bit more wind protection from a more substantial fairing at the front. But if all of that sounds kind of unnecessary for your particular needs and you appreciate this slightly smaller form factor, then $2,000's a significant difference, and this is still a really good bike to go for. As always, I'd love to know what you think of it, so do let me know down in the comments below. And would you go for the 660, or does the 800 sound worth it? And I'll actually put on the screen now my full rundown of the Tiger Sport 800, which I actually shot today, but I published it a couple of weeks back. You've got different embargo dates. But yeah, do give it a click and give it a watch if you haven't seen that one already. It's a great looking bike as well. Hit subscribe if you want to see more of the latest motorcycle news like this right here on MOTOBOB. A massive thanks for watching today, and we'll see you in the next video.